Okay, so we start our webinar today with a very special guest um, that she works and lives in Haiti. We were able to meet Valeska Agbara Yâ Toya, an artist, educator, and culture facilitator through her organization ASAO. Valeska is the founder of ASAO and a committed advocate for creativity as a tool for dialogue, healing, and social transformation. So it's very attuned to what our organization in our perspective, our view in Latin America is about. Um, Her work weaves together artistic practice, ancestral wisdom, and community engagement, creating spaces where imagination, resilience, and collective care can emerge. We are honored to have her with us today and look forward to the insights of and inspiration that she will share. So thank you, Valeska, for being here. She also has a very amazing friend here with us, Christian Cadet, who is an artist, an architect, and will also be presenting part of his work as as an associate to ASAO. So thank you, Valeska, for accepting our invitation, and we're very curious to see your approach to all of this through the arts for change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, and thank you for the invitation, first of all. Thank you for everyone who's already on the Zoom. And I thank my friend Christian Cadet, a Haitian artist, who was able to come today and then will share his perspective and experiences during the conflict in Haiti. So the only problem is that we have very weak internet signal. So
Mhm.
I will not be able. I think I'm gonna stop my video to show you the screen when you allow me to share my screen, so I can make sure that I have a faster internet connection. So I hope everyone saw my face. This is me.
Actually, this
Okay.
is me too.
Yeah, that's Christian Cadet over there. Okay, so I'm removing my video right now. And then please give me, oh, I think I can share right now too. I have the invitation to share. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay. My name is Valeska Agbara Yâ Toya Mamboyaya. I'm a voodoo priestess at the same time. And my voodoo priestess name is Mamboyaya. So full name is Valeska Agbara Yâ Toya Mamboyaya. So I was invited today by the Centro Studios investigation to present this webinar on arts dialogue and social transformation. And this invitation comes from my previous collaboration with ASART, with whom I've already done some work, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So now I'm trying to find the presentation, which is actually part of a larger presentation. So let me go back to the page, to the main page, if I can see it. Okay, escape. Okay, give me a second to find the page again. So the larger presentation is like how to build a culture of peace in a conflict-ridden society like Haiti or any other places. So this is part of that bigger presentation. So yeah, let's go back. So today's topic is arts dialogue and social transformation. Why are arts, dialogue, and social transformation important in the context of conflicts reasoning in Haiti? So, what gives me the premise to present on this topic? I actually studied global governance and development, sustainable development from the Waseda University in Tokyo. I have a master's degree in psychology of peace and conflict from the Tokyo University, and I also have a postmaster degree from the UN Peace University in Costa Rica on in social innovation. So I have experiences working in Senegal, Japan, and Haiti, both on all of these area of research, but also as a professional from different places, embassies, private sectors. I'm currently working for the government. I worked at the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Culture, and now I'm working at the Ministry of Education as the Director of External Cooperation. So this is me. I'm an art enthusiast. I dance. As a kid, I used to dance a lot. I used to do theater. So this is where my interest in art comes from. But also as a voodoo priestess, as a member of the voodoo community, art is a fundamental way of expressing what we think, but also the way we want to preserve the tradition and culture. Um, um, uh, um, yes. So I think I keep going back. So this is me. Um, yeah. So we have the title of the presentation and the question we're going to see today. Today is the summary. This page shows the summary of what today is. You already know about the webinar, the organization, Centro de Estudios and Investigation, my name, and the collaboration with Peace Art. But the thing that you don't know is that in Haiti, like you probably underlined somewhere in what we were already saying, is that we are facing a lot of violence, but to the level of terrorism, and these violence and this terrorism that is surging, that has taken place, is based on the society that is deeply divided in its roots, and then there have been different type of conflicts at different degree at the same time. And then this year particularly was very difficult because a lot of people were displaced. More than 1,500,000 people are currently displaced within the internally. And cultural sites have been attacked, destroyed by fire, or just dismantled by gangs or terrorists. And we have government buildings that also have been occupied and unoccupied right now, but then there are places in the main capital, Port-au-Prince, even where government places or buildings but then we cannot go to work there because the area is controlled by gangs. There are in the capital, the capital of Haiti, they say based on certain research, they say like about 80% of the capital is occupied or controlled by the gangs, and other places like Artibonite and Artibonite, the central part of Haiti, are also occupied or controlled by gangs. So this is why it's important but at the same time, resistance and resilience are part of our daily life, and art is a big part of that resistance and resilience. So this is why we are so interested in discussing and discussing, exchanging ideas with whoever from the country or abroad about peace and conflict, to find solutions together, how to better contribute to the peace building efforts in Haiti or elsewhere at the same time. So today's presentation is going to be outlined this way. It's going to be distributed this way based on this outline. I already explained the conflict in Haiti. Okay, we don't need to stay too long on it because there are multiple articles online which will give you a bit more perspective. Maybe I will come back a little bit to a little bit more details, but we're going to focus on on trying to answer the questions or the question of the presentation, so we don't spend too long because this webinar will end at in 50 minutes. Of course, you will have time to interact a little bit. So the second point of the presentation of our presentation is why arts matter in conflict. And then after that, I will introduce ASAO, which is Haiti Stellar Haiti Stellar Artist Offers, and then Christian Cadet, who has generously taken off some of of his time to come to be with us today, will present his experiences as an artist, and also will introduce you to his art, and then we'll try to explain how his inspiration is created even despite of the problems that we're facing in Haiti. So after that, I will briefly talk about some of the projects that ASAO has and the impact we've already had on the Haitian community. There's a very special article that I want to introduce you to that will give you a broader, or more detailed information on where the idea of ASAO came from, and then what we intend to do with the artist and everything. And then after that, we'll go to a more theoretical area, and then we'll suggest some ways to practice the arts and social change at the same time. And then we'll give you some guiding principles to make the mechanism, the practical mechanism, to make the mechanism practical. And then after that, we will end with a closed interactive session, question and answers, to better enrich the conversation, and then before we close. Okay, so the objective of this presentation, if I do speak too fast or if you don't hear me, please do let me know. If you have questions, you can leave them in the chats as we go to the conversation. This way you don't forget them. Objective of this presentation today, we have three objectives. On understanding art's role in peace and social transformation. That's the first one. The second one is exploring ASAO's mission in artist projects. We have Christian Cadet with us today, and then we will just discuss strategies for art-based dialogue and livelihood, like I said at the end. Okay, so context of political crisis in Haiti. I've already started to do the overview. We're just gonna say on top of the insecurity, the conflict has created. I mean, the conflict is based on. I mean, the conflict is rooted in different has different roots, and then those roots, many of these roots are globally related to political issues, political conflicts that the politicians, the people, the leaders have, but also people who have interest in the political area, maybe from the international community. They have probably economic interest in Haiti, and then they use the politician to make sure that to make sure that their interests are not threatened, and also maybe people within the country who also have some economic interest in Haiti. They also use the politics to make sure that their interests are not threatening, no, by any means necessary, whether it's using the gangs, children, and involving children in the gang activities or terrorism activities and everything. But what it's important is that my analysis is that the main reason for the conflict in Haiti, the main reasons for the conflict in Haiti is rooted in historical issues that we haven't resolved since the creation of the foundation of our nation in 1804, after our independence was declared and published in 1804 by Jean-Jacques Dessalines, our first emperor. And then there have been multiple political instability, fights for power and everything. And then, but on the other hand, you also have people with economic interests who also use this arena of politics to maintain some economic power in Haiti, at the demise of the people who are poor or who are not poor who don't have the equal chance to evolve in the society. But what I'm getting into right now is that because of this historical these historical issues that haven't been resolved since now, and the economic interests that are in conflict, and in the fact that they use in politics to make sure that they maintain power in all different arena. This has created huge social issues in the country, where we have a huge population of the population that is poor. Education, access to education is limited for most of people, because maybe certain time they can't pay for the education. There's not enough education politics to meet everyone's needs in this arena. Health access is limited. Access for hobbies is limited also, and culture, which is the center part of our identity, is very fragmented in a way that you artists have difficulty to find safe places to express the arts, but also us to live the culture is very limited right now, because a lot of places are controlled by, I mean, mainly in the capital, is controlled by the gangs and everything. And everything else you could, the economy is very unstable. You have a huge inflation, etc., etc. The exchange rate is very, the national currency is very weak in comparison to the international or foreign currencies, for example, mainly in comparison to the USD or the EU, which is not, it's stable right now, but then the way that it's weakened, that it's very, it's the way that it's weak is that it shows by this stability how much more power foreign currency has, and then how much importation would play into the imbalance, the imbalance between the national currency and the internet foreign currency and everything. When I say importation here, I want to emphasize on the fact that despite that we can produce a lot of goods in Haiti, because of the economic crisis and the lack of political policies, we tend to import a lot of things that we can produce in the country, which actually affect very negatively the agricultural sector or the local produced good. Okay, impact of the communities. I've already explained that, public and in public spaces and culture. I think we already got into that. So those areas that these pictures depict here, the first picture depict here, what or how, I mean, gang activities and what are the tools that they use to make sure that either people leave the place, or to separate some places. So they would probably put some barricades, either by the gangs, but also by people who want to make sure that the gangs don't get into their communities. But they would literally, the gangs or the terrorists would literally go into people's houses or government buildings or commercial centers, and then maybe kill some people and then ask people to leave, and then they take ownership or control of those places. Of course, there have been government action to try to fight this. It's just it's taking time to show real results, and in the meantime, we are suffering because of that. Okay, so this map shows places where you can see the gang controlled area, mainly in the capital. I would say the gang main controlled or terrorist controlled area, or not all the country, but you'll find mostly the capital is controlled by these groups, by these armed groups, and then you'll find the Artibonite area where you have, or places as you move toward Artibonite or outside of Port-au-Prince, where you have, or in the central of Haiti, where you have those control group areas. Those and the names of certain groups, armed group in Haiti, or like 5 Second, in in a place called Gangavin, or and you have Tibois, in the same in Bas Pilat. You also have Craché Diffé in the Delma 6. as you can see on the map. And then you have other places like Bazna Charbon, Belekou, those are gangs names. Jepep, those are gangs names. And then you have Belekou also control that area in that bigger area in Cité Soleil. And all of these are the capital. And then you have Chemichan as you move away from the capital who control a vast area. And then you also have Katsan Maouzou, and that as you, I mean, it's also the capital, but then they are expanding their activities outside of the capital at the same time. So and then, yeah, so this is for the overview, the context political crisis in Haiti, but mainly based on the consequence, mainly based on the effect that we're seeing in insecurity and terrorism and conflict. Okay, so why arts matter in conflict? Because art as a tool for is a big tool for expression and healing. We consider that art could help people to express what they feel, whether good or bad emotions. But the main idea is to use something that is neutral, that is not. I mean, art can be political, but in a neutral politics in this way. But the main idea is that you use something neutral where people feel safe enough to express themselves emotionally about a certain situation, particularly in conflict times. And then by expressing what they feel, we are hoping to find a way to healing in the way that you move forward, because there have been responsibility taken by the people who perpetrated the acts, and the people who are responsible for the conflicts and everything. There have been reparations and everything that are helping people to move forward, but also psychosocial follow-ups on the people who show trauma, etc. But sometimes it requires psychiatric intervention, especially on the part of the perpetrators, because some of the perpetrators might be influenced to get into conflict, maybe because they are trying to take revenge on something, or they feel disregarded by the society, but other people who actually resort to violence or just mentally sick. And so this kind of like people would probably need a psychiatric intervention. But all of these is part of a healing framework. And then with art, you can use it as in art. I mean, you can use art as a tool for that. And then for when it comes to dialogue and civic engagement, the first of all, it's very difficult to talk about conflict or violence that are happening in society in general, especially if you live very close to the perpetrator or the people who are supporting the conflict, or you are not sure who are supporting the conflict. Because first, as a human being, the first thing you're thinking of is your safety. You have this survival instinct you want to preserve. But from my experiences and from other people's experiences that I've observed, if the people who are affected by the conflict find a safe area where they can express themselves and start a dialogue on the issue, they will progressively do that. But the reason why it's important is that any problem in maybe in your family, maybe in your relationship with your friends and everything, any problem that is surging, if you don't talk about it, you will never be able to solve it, because the problem will never go away by itself. So, and if you want to solve it, as it becomes a bigger problem, if it does, or if you still want to maintain the relationship, you don't want to break away, maybe breaking the relationship, maybe breaking the territories where you live and everything. If you want to maintain the relationship, you will definitely have to face the fact that we need to talk about what's happening in the society. And that's where dialogue is extremely important, but not just dialogue, a safe area to do this dialogue. And then once we talk about who was doing the wrongdoings and the responsibility, like I was saying before, and how people were affected, what they lost and everything, reparations that are needed in terms of like material gains or justice and everything, and how people can be or how all parties can be useful in the future to the society can be established. Then we can move from dialogue to how to constructing to constructing or to reconstructing the place or society where we live. And then all of these require a minimum of civic engagement, where some people will definitely take some civilians or citizen of the country or society or member of the family will take the initiative to force or to raise awareness on the need for the dialogue and everything. But all this and those will just establish the structure, the network and everything. And then others will go beyond that to participate directly in whatever solutions that have been taken, that we've been agreed on during the dialogue and everything. But all of this is to say that it requires involvement from the parties of the place where we live, whether it's a family, society at large, or community in smaller ground when it comes to society in comparison to a whole society. So in this engagement, since it's the people of the country who are the main actors, the main actors who are affected by the country, usually they are the ones to start this dialogue and everything. Of course, then we can receive help, support, technical support, or maybe advice from other places who have been through the same experiences and everything. But the people who are the main actors here, or the people of the place, the people who live in that place. In our case, in Haiti, in the Haitian society. So social cohesion, why do we need dialogue and civic engagement? Why do we move away? We want to move away from conflict, is that if we want to ever talk about development, contribution to world development or the country's development, we need to be a stable country. And to be stable, this require that we live in peace. But when we say peace, what does this entail? This entails like we create social cohesion, okay, where different social groups are able to live in harmony, even if they may disagree or they may not share the same belief or the same goals on certain area, but then they on the bigger picture, on the way to govern the country in general, on the way to live in the place in general, they agree on those main points despite of their differences, and then they are able to accept each other despite the differences. Identity, we need a strong identity in order to actually exist as a country, which means like we cannot be fighting about religious group, or whether I'm a black, I'm a white, or whatever, but we all have to recognize that we are Haitian, and then these are the list of the things that describe us as to be Haitian, as to why we say we are Haitians. So identity, a strong identity through culture, and is what actually maintain the people close together, and then is a foundation of this social cohesion that we're talking about. Um, and art in this identity play a big part in it, because identity will be expressed in different ways, dance, theater, paintings, sculpture, name it. But then the fact is, art is a big part of culture, and therefore will play a big role in strengthening this national this strong national identity. Okay, so right now I want to talk a bit about introducing about ASAO. ASAO's mission is to empower Haitian artists, promoting peace and while promoting peace and social change in Haiti. We have had different. Although our activities have been on the low because of these issues we're facing, because we have not have a lot of activities recently, but until 2023, we were able to operate. And we have showcased different artists. We have had workshops, community dialogue, and then we had planned to give artists tools on how to develop their arts economically, so they can live on it and everything. So I will show you a little bit about the ASAO's website to give you more insight on what we talk, what is ASAO's about. What you're saying here as the ASAO's website is because we also have been facing financial issues at ASAO's to keep our structure running. But we are not losing faith. So therefore, whenever we have the time or the opportunity to talk, to keep talking or raise awareness or whatever contribution we can bring, we just do it despite of every problem. So now I'm going to show you a little bit about the ASAO's website. Okay, so this is ASAO. When you go on ASAO, you have this page, okay, and it starts with a music. And this artist's name is Samba Zile, a very big artist in Haiti, Haitian artist. And then you can stop it at any time. Okay, so our goal and what we have started to do is, as you can see, the way that the website is structured, which I will actually build myself. So it's like we have auctions to present the art of the artists, places to show their new arts, collectors' arts, what we already sold for the artists, special offers by the artist and everything. Okay, right now, I mean, I'm not going to go into the website thoroughly. You can do that later. But if you want to know more about the full story of ASAO, you'll just have to go to our community and then you'll have a long story about me, ASAO, and the artists that are part of it. There's also a part of our artist portfolio of ASAO. It's not shown publicly, but I've already constructed that. Once we are running again, I will put it public. But when it comes to our projects that we intended to, what I want to show is that all these arts are Haitian arts here. Okay, those are arts by Haitian artists that very generously participated in our work for peace in Haiti. So these are all Haitian art. Okay. All right, so you can visit it later. Some pages are not public because I've removed them for different reasons, but once we are running again, we'll put them public. Okay, so what we intended to do, and we hope to do when we are back, is creating art residency program, art for peace community collaborations to foster harmony through art, autism empowerment initiatives, artistic training and mentorship program, eco art initiative, green practices for artists, financial literacy for artists, art installation and murals. We want to also help artists to understand technology better so they can use the digital tools for their creativity, help them in literacy, visual literacy mainly. Okay, these are things that we want to do. And so those are the people who were involved, who have been involved in ASAO. Okay. We've already built these partnerships. Once we're up running again, we will definitely relaunch them. We're still in good relationship. We still maintain good relationship with all of these people, and then we intend to extend our partnership and sponsors um, list. Okay, all of these are Haitian arts as you are seeing here. Okay, impact, in terms of impact, ASAO have had from very fast impact from when we started in 2022 to 2023-24. Yeah, so we started with just 3 artists in 2023, December 2023. And then by the end of 2024, we started with just 3 artists on December 2022. But by the end of 2023, we had already reached 100 101 artists. And then we have a network that we create to stay in touch with them. And then our goal then was to reach, and still now is to reach at least 500, at first 500 artists in 3 years. And then within 3 or 4 years, again, reach about 1,000 Haitian artists to be, so their art can be projected and exhibited on the website, and then so customers around the world can buy it. And so we've also have we've had some so we've actually, you see that those I've showed you some Haitian art that are already exhibited on the website. Despite I put the prices at a minimum $5,000. Okay, so between since July 2023 to the end of July of 2022, we have had maybe even if the website wasn't publicly, wasn't really available for public use, and it was still under construction, we had about 40 people who wanted to make purchases, and this is without doing any advertising and everything. So, and the minimum price was $5,000. We also have people from different places who visited, about from July 20th, 2023 to the end of 2023, we had a huge, and our market was distributed this way: 58% visitors from the US, 34% from Haiti, and places like Japan, France, Saudi Arabia, and everything, Germany, Singapore, South Korea, and etc. were visiting. And then that's about 3,000 people visits on the website without advertising and everything. So but this is not just giving exposure to artists' art, but also to show people the projects, things that we're working on, and then hoping to find support to do more. Okay, so you can go on ASAO's impact page anytime that you want. I'm gonna go back a little bit on the presentation to see where we're at right now, because we've already moved to various slides. Seems like I memorized a lot of things. Okay, so now I'm going to give Christian some time to talk about his experiences and his art, and how he gets about to maintain his inspiration despite the conflicts in Haiti. Christian, I'm gonna close my audio. If you want me to share the screen for you, please let me know. I have it ready. Hello, Christian, are you there?
Oh, sorry. I thought I unmuted. Sorry, my bad. I'm here.
To share the screen for you?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay.
So, good morning again. My name is Christian. I'm an architect and a painter in Haiti. I was born in Haiti. I really like growing up in Haiti. It wasn't really the easiest thing being a painter because, in society in Haiti, painting is not really considered like a professional job or anything like that. So, growing up, I went more into the architecture field. And even though I always enjoyed painting, but like as a professional career, I chose to become an architect. And really, it's around when I was 19, around 2013, through the beginning of like Haiti really coming into this level of conflict, I really started getting more and more into painting, even though I didn't really have any background into, techniques. I had to teach myself online on YouTube to learn everything I've learned how to do. And one of my biggest inspiration was Jean-Michel Basquiat because he had this form of freedom in his way of his like a roundness, a symbolism in the way he was creating his art with no specific, techniques or anything. It was just purely creativeness. And honestly, that really meant a lot to me. So to his art, around 2023, I decided to have my first expo, and it was called Mind Nagaye, which translates to the mind is in a mess, to the chaos that was happening in Haiti, and also, me growing to my, let's say, young teen age and finding myself out. Painting really gave me like a space where I could really put down the level of like insecurity, instability, all of this and uncertainty I was living in this country. Could you go to the next page, please? For example, this was one of my pieces that I created, and this idea of this country that there was so many people dying that we couldn't even when they were telling us a number, we knew it tended to be worse than that. And I found it very thera, therapeutical. I'm sorry, I don't know the word exactly. Like it was very a good way for me to like put those feelings down in a way that I could express truly like what was going through my head. Those were three pieces that were a perfect example of what I was trying to achieve, which the middle one is kind of the representation of, the state of my mind in the country at that time. On the right, it was a perfect balance of, that one person with all of those colors representing like different emotions, different feelings, but still with this chaos surrounding you. Could you go to the next page, please? This is a close up to that piece I was talking about with all of the graves surrounding him, and he is in his purest form, naked, no clothes, just simply being in a reality of just simply existing. This is the best way I could describe this one. This is again the one I was talking about with the colors, which each represent a certain emotions, the anger, fear, sadness, happiness, but all intertwined because especially around that time I was what? I was young, I should say. I was 20 something and I had a lot of emotions for my choice of life. Did I really want to stay in Haiti? Did I wanted to move somewhere else? And I think that it was a good way for me to represent all of those feelings into one piece. This is one day and the expo I was having. This piece was I'm sorry about the quality. I couldn't find a better picture of it. This piece was about the balance between, like how much did life really mean to people? Like the man itself represented not necessarily death, but as you could see behind him, he had like a balance that was balancing the weight of a bullet compared to like the bouquet of blood, which is more worthy, which is more worth something in life. Like as like one little bullet could literally end somebody's life. This one was just pure chaos. Honestly, this one was one of those pieces that it was just purely emotional. I was just going at it. I myself cannot specifically tell you what you're looking at. All I know is the idea of having all of those eyes just looking at you and you feeling kind of unsettled. Like I feel like that was literally the feeling I wanted to represent to this piece. And this is another picture just simply representing some of my other pieces. Those are the two pieces that a lot of people really loved. This one was bought by one of my friends. He actually put it on the top of his bed. It's really this idea of having this feeling of having people always talking behind your back or having noises around you and not necessarily being able to put a face on the feeling itself, but having this like tra- not traumatic but bothersome energy around you and because of again going back to the state of the country, like you really end up compared to the before when you were in the street, everything felt so safe, so comfortable. now you're in this reality of everywhere you go, you kind of feel like you have to pay attention all around you, like you're feeling kind of anxious by you don't know if something's gonna happen or if somebody's gonna, I don't know, kidnap somebody next to you or if a shooting is gonna start happening. It's like a feeling of anguish. Now, I already started working on my next expo that's gonna happen in 2026. For this one, I am thinking about exploring more like the the entanglement of my life living in Haiti. And instead of taking an outside look, I'm trying to take more of an inside look, thinking about the entanglement between, my place in society, my sexuality, the weight of this reality and this world, like trying to find a way to freely express, like represent in a way, then could you go to the next page, please? Like kind of represent like those, this is more the direction I'm going, a more simpler, less colors, but trying to find a way to represent like the entanglement, like how do I say that? Like I'm trying to present it in a way where those invisible forces, social expectation, fear, desire, identity, survival, how to find a way to like force those overlapping, colliding lines to create like a pattern to different pieces. Unlike the earlier works I used to do, I'm trying to stay a little bit more muted in the tones of colors and letting the lines themselves speak a little bit louder, like making it more, creating more of a complexity to the lines instead of through color itself. This is another piece that I'm working on, but pretty much done.
So much for this very vivid and expressive presentation. I really liked it. I think if there were questions, we can ask them later. Now we're going back on my slide so we can see where we're at. We've already talked about this project and impact of ASAO collaborations. There was a huge article by That Art, a British company, on ASAO's work. I don't know if I have the link ready right now. Oh, this 1 second. So That Art is a British company, I think slash Russian. They actually publish a very good article on ASAO's work in November 2023. And then with ASART, we had this very interesting, very educational laboratory of art on December 23, along with Sylvia. Those were some memories of that laboratory of art. This article is both in French and English for those who are interested to read it. So yeah, we are very thankful for this collaboration where the kids could come express their anger, grief, their emotional state during the art, and then also use the art to actually express what they were feeling and find some way to heal what they were feeling, the parts that were wounded and everything. At the end of the Laboratory of Art, we distributed certificates to all the participants, and then there was a cultural show by Sambazile during that event. Okay, to go back again, I talked about both those two. So a bit of theoretical explanation. Sorry, I see that parts of it is missing, but then yeah, the arts in dialogues and social transformation is very important, not because we imagine it or we just want to come with some invented idea without any research and everything, but they have been very prominent researchers, and then it's a field that's very, pieces in general is a field that's really large, explored and researched by scientists like me or big scientists around the world. And one of them is Jean-Paul Lederache, which I think many of you might have already studied as researchers and everything. And then he, for example, based on his work, he's a writer, as an artist, is a writer. He published in 2005 The Art and Soul of Building Peace. Okay, he published it with the Oxford University and Press, where he says, where he argues that peace building requires imagination. The ability to envision alternative through arts provides a medium for this moral imagination. Okay, so we can definitely use art as a medium for peace, for dialogue, and even when we're going to go towards social change. We have another prominent researcher, which is Kathy Malchody, who published the art therapy into 1998, where she discusses and also her other key piece, expressive therapies, which expands on creative processes to process trauma, foster resilience, and enhance self-expression. The first one explore creative processes. Yeah, so both of them expresses the same thing. But then the main argument in her work is that expressive arts in general can be used as therapy to allow individuals and communities to process trauma. So yeah, there are multiple researchers on the field that covers it. So I wish you can take some time to explore this subject more. In conclusion, why arts matters in context of conflicts, or in context of conflicts like in Haiti, it's because of all this violence and everything, expressive arts, for example, allow people to express pain, anger, grief, hope without requiring formal language that would be probably unsafe for them. So they find a medium, a safe place to go to express that. Through this expression, they are able to externalize their trauma in a non-violent way, in a constructive ways. By doing that, they are able to preserve their dignity and identity in situations where they have been dehumanized. So art itself in general is a very safe language. So arts allow people to rebuild their identity and social cohesion, like I said, during conflict, where the social fabric is fractured, and by reaffirming cultural identity. This allows us to reaffirming cultural identity and collective memory. And we are able to reconnect with each other in society by rebuilding common narratives that we share in our quest to strengthen our identity. Can we have the references from? Yeah, you can note. I will go back on the page. You note that, and then you go probably to Google Books, and then you'll find them. The Arts Therapy, published in 1998 by Oxford University Press. So if you go on Google Books, you will definitely find it. Arts as a pathway to agency as well. Okay, so arts in conflict arena where people think that they have lost their power, they fall into a sort of fatalism and everything. Arts, you can use arts to give people agency and to empower them and show the people who are marginalized voice can be heard, can be visible again. And then this help us to create practical way for peace building, but also to have strategical way to create ways people can live on their arts the same way that ASAO is doing. But all of this is saying like dialogue is not inseparable of art. You can actually art as a medium to foster or to launch that dialogue. And then by doing dialogue, by actually doing this dialogue and using arts as a medium, you are leading the country. You are able to lead the society to social transformation because they will be able to do all these changes that we talk about, like process their trauma, their fear, regain self-worth, imagination, develop emotional literacy and nonviolent expression of everything. The community as a whole can rebuild trust, where groups were divided, encourage collaboration rather than compete with each other, strengthen community leadership and participation to encourage civic engagement. And at a societal level, this was community level. At a societal level, when scaled and supported, arts contribute to cultural policies that value peace and inclusion. And we have a Ministry of Culture in Haiti and also of Cult that can do that if the national policies or moving towards that. So cultural policies that value peace and inclusion, narrative that counter violence and fatalism, international solidarity and visibility for Haitian voices, international solidarity through anything, whether you decide to support a Haitian artist or support peace building in Haiti, and allow Haitians who have been victimized by a group to voice their issue, I mean their trauma or their suffering through any channel that you have, like we're doing right now, or ways to show solidarity and maintain this and create that visibility for these groups. So that was the presentation. We started at 9:10 as Costa Rica time. I think we are on time. Maybe we'll take the questions now. If there are any questions or comments on what we discussed. For the practical mechanisms and guiding principles, I think we're going to leave that for another presentation. But for now, this is all because we've already reached our time. So now this is the time to discuss if we can use those 5 minutes left. Thank you.
Yes, for sure, Valeska. It's always an honor to be able to share spaces with you and to listen to the incredible work that you're doing in Haiti. It's really we are in awe. We are admiring this strength and yeah, just um, really touched by the work that you do. We have some questions. Some of them are mine because and Victoria, because we were trying to get into your website and we cannot. We were unable to do so. So I know it's a Wix page, and I was wondering if you could resend on the chat the link to be able to
Website, since we were facing financial problems at ASAO, we actually stopped paying for the public view for the website as the asao.com, I mean .art. So the link that I'm going to send now, I hope if you are not able to, I mean, you remember that in the past you were able to visit the website. It's just since we stopped paying the domain name, try to use this one to see,
okay,
because I'm able to go on it. But then if you are not, I've already
good. I have
showed, and then the website, you
it's
haven't been able to?
yeah, now I am able. Yeah.
Or you are able to go on it?
Yes, I was able to. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank
That's
you.
excellent, excellent. And then we have another comment. It says, Valeska, it's from Maria Delgado. She had to leave, but she says, Valeska, your work is so inspiring. I was excited to hear your perspective in such a challenging context. Christian, thank you for sharing your art. And then that she had to leave. So thank you to the to the to the organizations. And well, now we open to the public to see if there is any questions. We are it would be the time to go. I don't know if or comments. Maybe Victoria wants to add something. A beautiful comment. Yeah, so
Well, I don't have any question. I just wanted to say thank you. And this is like a really inspiration for our Latin America community because you have a lot of things happening in your country and so as we like here in Mexico, but your strength and your art make us feel that there's there's a possibility in the horizon. So thank you very much for sharing your commitment and your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah. So
And thank you for having me again.
we're very, very happy to have you too, Christian. Thank you. I was gonna say about the presentation and about the arts in peace building as Hilde Domin. It's a German poet who had to go in exile while the Second World War in Dominican Republic, and she said her poetic philosophy was all about the nevertheless. She said that poetry could support this um, kind of attitude towards life, this nevertheless, that nevertheless there is hope, nevertheless there is life, something to grasp on, still. So I am really honored again and really inspired by the work that you are doing and leading in Haiti. So thank you, Valeska, for this amazing presentation.